Not everyone you meet is meant to walk the full path with you. Some will only stay for a season. Others arrive carrying lessons, not companionship. And there are those whose presence silently drains your energy, even when they smile in your direction. To walk a peaceful path, you must learn to observe more than you absorb. Observe their tone, their reactions, their intentions, and most of all, how your soul feels in their presence. Your peace is not a luxury. It is your foundation. A disturbed mind cannot see clearly. A heart surrounded by noise cannot listen inwardly. And so, your first responsibility is to protect that stillness like you would guard a sacred flame on a windy night. If someone repeatedly disturbs that stillness, no matter how close they are, the wise step back not with anger, but with understanding. There are people who will never applaud your growth. They will fear your silence because it makes them confront their own noise. They will mock your boundaries because they have none of their own. When you rise in self-awareness, your light may offend those still lost in shadows, but that is not your burden. Your responsibility is not to shrink so others feel tall. Your responsibility is to rise gently, quietly, but firmly. Sometimes peace requires uncomfortable decisions. Distance, letting go, saying no. These acts may feel heavy in the moment, but they are light compared to the weight of constant toxicity. You cannot change people who do not want to change, but you can choose where to place your time, your energy, and your presence, and those are choices that will shape your inner world more than any outside influence ever could. The path to inner peace is not found in avoiding chaos, it is found in not letting chaos live within you. Toxicity is subtle. It enters through comparison, complaint, manipulation, blame. Protect yourself not with walls, but with wisdom. Carry compassion, but know when to walk away. Forgive, but do not return to places that wounded you. You are not unkind for leaving behind those who make you forget who you are. Not every relationship in your life comes to bring light. Some enter like fog, quietly, slowly, and before you realize it, you're surrounded by a heaviness that makes you forget where you were going. You convince yourself, this person cares for me, they are part of my journey, but a deeper voice within whispers, something is not right. Yet we often ignore that whisper, because it speaks in silence, and the world around us is always too loud. You must learn to sit still, close your eyes, and feel the presence of the person you're unsure about, not through their words, but through the energy they leave behind in your space. Does your breath deepen when they enter, or does your chest tighten? Do you feel safe, or do you feel judged? This is not imagination. It's the wisdom of your body speaking. Learn to trust it. Be like the tree that welcomes sunlight and rain, but does not let every bird build a nest on its branches. Some leave beauty, some only leave droppings. You do not owe your energy to everyone who smiles at you. Stay rooted in your values and grow upwards. If a branch is too weak to carry the weight of another, it lets go, not in anger, but to survive. This is not cruelty, this is clarity. Real strength is not in how many people you can carry with you. It is in knowing who truly belongs beside you, the ones who drain your spirit, who make your thoughts cloudy, who leave your soul uneasy. They are not your people. They are your lessons, and lessons are meant to be remembered, not carried. The most dangerous toxins are not loud. They are subtle. They wrap themselves in kindness, praise, even love. But watch how you feel after every encounter. If you are always tired, confused, or doubting yourself, that is not love, that is erosion. Your energy is sacred. Protect it like fire in a storm, not with walls, but with wisdom, because every time you protect your peace, you are not losing a person. You are reclaiming yourself. Peace is not something you stumble upon. It is something you protect. Like a monk tending a quiet temple in the mountains, you are the guardian of your own silence. This stillness inside you is more than just comfort. It is the place where truth becomes visible. But if the mind is constantly disturbed by the noise of others, the vision of the soul becomes clouded. Imagine a clear lake. You can see your reflection only when the water is still. The moment you throw stones, judgments, comparisons, arguments, the image disappears. And yet there are people in this world who will never celebrate your growth, not because you are doing something wrong, but because your evolution reminds them of their stagnation. The path of self-discovery is not always met with applause. Sometimes it is met with resistance, sarcasm, or silence. You rise in awareness, you speak less, you observe more, and those still addicted to noise will feel threatened, not inspired. Master Heng once expressed that the light within you will not always be welcome in rooms that are comfortable with darkness. This does not mean you dim yourself. It means you become wise about where you shine. The sun does not apologize for its brilliance, yet it also does not force itself through every window. When your energy shifts, it acts like a mirror to those around you. Some will embrace that reflection. Others will turn away. Your job is not to explain your transformation to those committed to misunderstanding it. Your job is to continue becoming. Toxic people often fear silence because in silence they are forced to face themselves. They mock boundaries because they have none. They label your solitude as arrogance, your focus as detachment, and your peace as being cold. But you must remember, they are speaking from their discomfort, not your truth. Your role is not to shrink so others can feel tall. It is not your task to slow down your journey so others can catch up at their pace. You can offer kindness, but you are not responsible for their discomfort with your clarity. Growth is not always comfortable, and it is never convenient, but it is necessary. The deeper you go within, the more your external relationships will shift. This is not a punishment, it is alignment. Those who are meant to grow with you will rise beside you. Those who are not will fall away, not because you rejected them, but because the vibration of your soul no longer resonates with their chaos. So keep going, keep rising, not loudly but surely. For every step you take inward, the path forward becomes clearer. Sometimes peace requires difficult choices, choices that make the heart tremble, not because they are wrong, but because they are true. To create space for peace, we must be willing to remove what disturbs it, even if that means stepping away from people, places, or habits that once felt familiar. Master Heng teaches that the path of inner strength is not always paved with comfort. Sometimes it is paved with discipline, distance, and silence. Letting go is not always dramatic. It can happen quietly, a slow withdrawal of energy, a decision to stop explaining, a refusal to engage with what no longer feels aligned. You may still care for them, you may still wish them well, but care does not require closeness, and love does not demand self-betrayal. You must remember that your time is sacred. Your attention, your energy, your presence, these are not infinite. Where you place them shapes your life. A flower cannot bloom in toxic soil, no matter how much sunlight it receives. Likewise, your spirit cannot thrive in environments that constantly drain your peace. Not because you are weak, but because you are human. There is no need to carry guilt for choosing yourself. It is not selfish to protect your well-being. It is wise. Even a candle must guard its flame against strong winds, not out of fear, but because it knows its light has purpose. So too must you protect your inner light, not with walls, but with wisdom. You may be tempted to stay, to explain, to fix, but if someone repeatedly chooses to bring confusion into your clarity, that is their pattern, not your responsibility. Growth often requires walking alone for a while, but in that solitude, something powerful happens. You return to yourself. You reconnect with your values, your boundaries, your stillness. Do not fear the temporary emptiness that comes with releasing what is toxic. That emptiness is space for truth, for alignment, for peace. And once peace returns, you'll see clearly the discomfort of letting go was far lighter than the burden of holding on. The path to peace is not paved by avoiding chaos. It is walked by learning how to remain undisturbed by it. Chaos exists outside of us and at times within us, but not all that enters deserves to stay. Master Heng reminds us, the key is not in building walls to shut the world out, but in cultivating wisdom to know what to let in. Toxicity rarely arrives shouting. It is quiet. It wears masks of humor, of concern, of closeness. It hides in comparison that steals joy, in gossip that stains your heart, in manipulation disguised as love, in blame that poisons your confidence. And so, to protect your peace, you must develop clear sight. You must see beneath the surface. Words can lie, but your body never does. Pay attention to how it reacts in someone's presence. Tight chest, uneasy stomach, racing thoughts. These are not coincidences, these are signals. Do not confuse kindness with tolerance. Forgiveness is sacred, but returning to the same fire that burned you is not strength. It is self-neglect. When someone has shown you who they are repeatedly, believe them. You are not cold for choosing distance. You are not cruel for choosing quiet. You are choosing health. You are choosing clarity. You are choosing a life where your spirit can grow instead of shrink. Peace is not loud. It does not chase. It does not demand attention. Peace simply arrives when you stop inviting conflict. It lives in simplicity, in boundaries, in self-respect. To walk in peace, you must be willing to disappoint others if it means not betraying yourself. And you must know this, not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Some departures are a rescue. Master Heng teaches that growth invites change, and change often invites resistance. When you begin to protect your energy, to choose silence over drama, solitude over chaos, growth over comfort, do not be surprised if others misunderstand. But their confusion is not your burden. Your only task is to continue walking. Steady, clear, present, because the one who walks in peace does not need to convince anyone. Their calm becomes their compass. Their stillness becomes their power, and their life begins to reflect not the noise around them, but the silence within. When you begin to choose peace over approval, silence over noise, and growth over familiarity, life shifts in ways that may feel unfamiliar, but deeply right. The journey is not about how many people walk beside you, but how true you remain to the path beneath your feet. Some connections will fall away not because you are bitter, but because you are better aligned with your soul's direction. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it is necessary, because a disturbed mind cannot reflect truth, and a heart surrounded by noise cannot hear the voice within. In learning to let go of what drains you, you make space for what builds you. And as you walk forward, not in haste, but in presence, you will find that inner peace is not a destination. It is a way of being. Quiet, steady, powerful, let that be your path.